What's up, mobsters? Hey, how we doing? Man, Unadilla delivered. And while Haiden Deegan's done, it's not done. Trust me. There's a lot more to break down here, and we're going to get into all that. So first, I want to thank Complete Racing Solutions. You guys know Coach Rob. Coach Rob's a mad scientist when it comes to fitness. He's offering resumes for his elite team. So hit him up, get on his elite team. We got Epic Garage Designs. If you're tired of having this boring old garage, you want to make it look really cool, make it look factory, hit up epicgaragedesigns.com. And then we got Ride Strapped. You guys know Strapped. I'm going to be giving away free goggles in the comments section. Yeah, so if you comment on this video, there's a chance, that's how you enter to win the goggles. I will pick a couple different people in there, and we're going to give away some goggles and also use Cooksy for free shipping. And then also Precision Transport. If you need to ship something, you need a refrigerated truck, you're just tired of dealing with crappy trucking companies, hit up Precision Transport. All right, guys, let's get into this one.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
Haiden Deegan. Oh, the outdoor series is all but done. Yes, we've had miracles in this sport. We've had crazy things happen. I don't necessarily see one coming, but there's hope, guys. The SMX series, the Super Duper Cross that I've kind of been making fun of. I make fun of the name. The idea of Super Motocross and having something at the end of the season, a race off or playoff, as they say, well, that's actually working. It's got the desired effect. We've got guys coming back from injury to race their way into shape. Look at Austin Forkner battling to try to get into this because he could save his season here. Like, he could take a complete washout season. In any other year, coming back would be essentially pointless. He just get ready for 2024. But now he's got something to come back for. And this matters. This 3-race series, the Super Duper, the inaugural one always is kind of important. There's a little bit of extra stigma on it. Like, I want to be that first-time champion. And it absolutely matters. So while Haiden Deegan probably won't get it done in the Outdoor Nationals, so he's done there, the SMX series, he gets one more crack at Hunter. And with the trash talk heating up, he definitely wants this, trust me. And they're true rivals right now. Like, he can match Hunter's speed. Like, he pushed him. And that first moto, when Haiden kind of fell back and looked to be freight trained by those guys, it looked like it was over. You're like, okay, well, Hunter's the guy and it's over, right? No, Haiden, like generational talents do, and I can't explain how hard it is to regroup in the middle of a moto, find your speed, and run down your rival after seeing him ride away from you the way Hunter did. That was awesome. But then his poor bike let him down. Like, that sucks. I mean, that's part of racing. When you have these things, I mean, you can say Hunter had his issue. It happens. But when it does, it really does take the air out of the room. It's just like such an unfulfilling way for it to end when you got a guy with a battle, and that's the deciding factor. But he gets another crack at SMX. And let's break down the trash talk. First, Haiden jumps up there and says, what do you say? That, Hunter's the guy that should be winning. He should be getting the title.
Oh, man, I've been watching too much David Goggins and Andrew Tate. Those last few laps, I'm like, I put my heart into this thing, baby. And, man, it's nerve-wracking, and I'm sure it's nerve-wracking for Hunter, too. He's supposed to be winning these things, and I'm glad I could put the American up front for all the fans.
Congratulations, great job.
Then Hunter comes back and says he's just saying whatever his dad tells him to.
It is what it is. I mean, it's not him, it's his dad, so it is what it is. He's just telling him, feeding him the information to say, and it's cool, and whatever. I could care less, It only works if I buy it, so it don't matter.
Now, if you think that's not an insult, it 100% is. Any of you guys that have teenagers or remember how you were at 17, what don't you want? You don't want people to think your parents control you. You don't want to think you're your parents' puppet. That's an insult. That's 100% an insult towards Haiden. He's playing in. It was a subtle dig. It was classy, but don't think that wasn't trash being talked. That was 100% trash aimed at Haiden and Brian Deegan. And then he actually one-ups it on the podium after the race when he says, when he uses the Shaquille O'Neal quote or the Michael Orr quote or any other sports star who came from nothing, when he talks about pressure, that quote.
I was looking forward to it, Everyone was talking about, the pressure this, the pressure that. that's not pressure. I choose to do this. Pressure is when my family couldn't eat. So this is fun and it's what I love to do. So I was looking forward to the challenge.
While it's plagiarized, it actually does apply to Hunter, and they did come from not much. What he's doing there, I don't even know if he knows this, but he's reminding you he comes from nothing. And also, Haiden, considered the rich kid. You know, he supposedly has had things handed to him. Hunter wants to remind you that he understands what it's like to be at the bottom. He's playing a role, and it's awesome. But, man, Haiden, he's got one more shot. If he doesn't get it done at SMX, it's going to be tough. And it's going to kind of take a little bit of steam off this Lawrence Deegan rivalry. I think he's going to get it done. I really do, and I think it's going to be awesome. And then as they, Hunter goes up to 450s, we're going to get about 2 years where we're going to anticipate the move from Haiden to the 450 class. It's awesome. I love it. I love what they're doing. And it's funny, the same thing Hunter said about Haiden as far as his dad feeding him lines, well, that could also be said about Hunter. When he says, that they came from nothing, I don't think Hunter truly understands that. As a kid, you don't understand your parents' finances. You don't understand the struggles. I'm sure Dazzy told him that, and he regurgitated that, which is probably what Haiden did. Brian probably told him, man, don't feel pressure. He's the one that should feel pressure. I don't think he fed him a line. It's not like Haiden Deegan got out like a card and went, hey, okay, so he's reading, he didn't read off what Brian told him. He regurgitated information that they probably talked about. And it was authentic and it was good, and embrace it. I absolutely love it. It's not mean-spirited trash talk, but if you don't think these guys have a serious rivalry, you're crazy. This is 100% a rivalry. And for a rivalry to be real, you have to have guys that can beat each other. It's not a rivalry if one guy wins all the time. What Haiden did in that first moto by regrouping is he showed he has what it takes to compete with Hunter on any track, any day, anywhere. He's there. He is a different kid than he was during Supercross. And when we get to SMX, woo, we have got ourselves a rivalry. And I'm just crossing my fingers, praying that it plays out the way I think it will, where we're going to see those two guys battling at the final round, and it's going to be good. The guy that plays spoiler in this whole thing is Justin Cooper. And this goes to Star Yamaha on a mechanical level had a horrific day at Unadilla. Hayden's bike breaks, essentially knocking him out of this title. Then they put this experimental stabilizer on Cooper's bike, Justin Cooper's bike. And if you've ever ridden with the stabilizer, you know what I'm talking about. It's really good on high-speed bumps, like Baja type stuff or flying across that. But when you get into a deep rut, that stabilizer works against you, not for you. And this track was like, you get into slot cars, and it was just, once you picked a rut, you were stuck for the next 50 yards. And with a stabilizer, you start fighting the bike, and it didn't work. You need a light front end. You almost need to let that front wheel float through those ruts. He wasn't able to do it, but he proved in that second moto, hey, when the bike works, I could be there. But then wait a second, Justin Cooper, is he eligible for SMX? Because he can't race 250 Supercross. Yes, he is. My boy Johnny Hopper reached out, and found out, yes, he is eligible. They are allowing riders who have pointed out of the 250 class to race the SMX championship if they race the Outdoor Nationals, which opens up a whole new gateway for guys like Joey Savacci, Colt Nichols, guys who pointed out of the 250 class but don't really have a good 450 ride. Well, next year, when guys are the attrition of this series, because you can't run this long and this hard without having a serious amount of attrition. If you're a 250 team and you want to win SMX, because I think it's going to be really big, do you want to go get a guy, a rookie from Loretta's, and put him in it? No, you want to get a guy who you think can win. Joey Savacci, let him go race some 450 races, pick him up for the outdoors and SMX. That's a great living. We got a whole new opportunity here. Yes, they're running a little bit behind because you get a little bit of a point advantage by riding Supercross heading into SMX. But the way they're doing the points is single, double, and triple for each 3 rounds. It's like running a marathon and giving a guy like a 500-yard head start. While you don't want to give a guy a 500-yard head start, it's still a marathon, and every one of these guys that qualifies for it is absolutely capable of bringing this thing home. And Justin Cooper might spoil this whole rivalry. But I love the way that these families are embracing it. They are elevating the sport to a whole new level. If you saw when they did the whole the span of the the people attending Unadilla, if you don't think that's the Lawrence and Deegan effect, you're crazy. Both those guys are awesome. They're bringing it. You got Jet Lawrence, you got Hunter Lawrence, you got Haiden Deegan, Brian Deegan, Dazzy actually is a part of this story also. It's amazing, man. We've got something and we need to embrace this and keep them talking. I love it. Bummer news about RJ Hampshire. That was one of the most horrific crashes that I've seen. And it makes it even worse is a lot of you guys might not know his history. RJ Hampshire is a traumatic brain injury survivor. He knocked himself out, I believe it might have been the inaugural straight rhythm. It was bad. There was thoughts that he might never race again. He lost a considerable amount of time in his memory. He's very open about talking about it, but to see him unconscious like that, I hope they don't rush him back. Take your time, RJ. He's got that beautiful family. He's got, the little daughters that love him. While you have to provide for them, also, man, you got to be there mentally. So take your time and recover, see the specialists, do whatever you got to do. If you've got to sit out SMX, designations, all that stuff, do it. But I would like to see RJ. RJ is one of the most exciting riders in this sport. You should just have an RJ cam because he's that determined. And I don't want to see him wind up, with some serious health injuries or lose his personality. Some of the things that can happen from major head injuries. But I just want to see him take, the precautions that they need. And another thing that really bugged me about Unadilla is the start. And yes, I understand Unadilla is a historic track. It's an amazing track that, it's been around forever. It was home to the GP, the US GP for the longest time. They race it once a year. They keep everyone off of it. But that start has got to be updated. You can't have dudes going that fast without the use of their rear brake. Almost every moto had a major pile up. Change the start. Let's develop a better start that kind of allows guys like Haiden Deegan had no chance of getting a good start all the way on the outside, unless you're going to do a two-row start if you're going to do something like that, because you don't have a good chance of getting a start all the way on the outside. But if you're going to keep it the way it is and you want one gate and all that, let's just change it and make it into a left-hand turn. There's plenty of room out there at Unadilla. You're not going to lose anything from the series, but we just want to keep these guys healthy, especially since they're running 3 more rounds at the end of this series. We need to do whatever we can to eliminate the crazy first turn crashes. I mean, that first turn crash that Anderson had in the 450 class where it took out Masterpool could have been so much worse. It's gnarly. The sport's gnarly as is, but we need to understand that the bikes are much faster, and what worked in the 1970s and the early 80s doesn't work anymore. It's okay to update these tracks to fit the modern bikes and change the start. So with that, guys, man, I cannot wait for SMX and to see this Deegan. Deegan and the Lawrences both, because they both should get credit. They're playing into this thing perfectly. They are setting up a rivalry for the ages. They're setting up a rivalry that could take this sport to a whole new level. And it's headed there, guys. So, all right, that's it. I will catch you guys later. Have a good day.